trades and contract updates. Let's get into it. So over the last few days, there have been a bunch of trade updates, a bunch of contract updates. Nothing circled by the club yet. It's all not speculation, but it's journos saying that they've heard things and talked to people in the club that don't want to be sort of put on record. So we do have a bunch of names here that we're going to talk about. You'll see here that I'll have an article where it came from. So you can have a read, you can pause that and have a read as it's going through. But the first one we're going to talk about some contract news. Yesterday, it was said that Steele Sidebottom will be playing on in 2025, which is absolutely huge because he's had such a good season. He's playing off that half-back line. He had another really good game against Sydney where he kept Errol Goulden to his lowest disposal tally since the 2022 grand final. Obviously, Errol kicked the winning goal, but we know that it wasn't Steele that let that winning goal happen. But other than that, the rest of the game was really good. Mr. Versatile, a lot like Will Hoskin-Elliott, who has got a contract in front of him for 2025 as well. So that means that that's amazing for Steele, an absolute legend of the club. Steele and Pendles will break the most games together record next season. I think they need to play 307 games or something like that. Steele is probably going to be pushing for 350 games as well. So that's absolutely incredible. The only knock that I've heard from other people, other Collingwood supporters, is he too old? What are we going to do with these veterans? How do these young kids sort of come in? And I somewhat agree in a way. In 2025, we'll have 9 over 30 players playing. So that's Jack Crisp, Jamie Elliott, Mason Cox, Brodie Mihocek, Scott Pendlebury, Steele, Jeremy Howe, Tom Mitchell, Will Hoskin-Elliott. So they're all of our over 30s. Some of them have had contracts triggered. So Jeremy Howe had his contract triggered for 2025. All of those guys are contracted until the end of 2025. So Elliott, Mason Cox, Crisp, all these guys, Tom Mitchell, uncontracted until the end of 2025. So we're going to go in with nearly a dozen players who are over 30, all got contracts until the end of the year. Now, we thought we would probably see a couple of retirements at the end of this year with these sort of older guys. And, you know, I dare say that contracted players can still retire if they feel like they can't go on. I don't think that's really going to happen personally. I haven't heard anything. I don't think the likes of Mitchell and Elliott or Brodie Mihocek are going to retire. They'll probably see out their contract. And then it's like, okay, in 2025, is that when we see the drop-off when 2026 comes, where we've got 6 or 7 over 30s retiring straight away? You know, Mick Malthouse came out to McRae and said, you have to stagger these retirements. Are we going to see half a dozen players retire at the end of next year? I do hope it's staggered a little bit. Like Will Hoskin-Elliott's only 30. He probably has a couple of years left in him. Jack Crisp as well. Brodie Mihocek probably has a couple of years left in him as well. Scott Pendlebury, who really sort of knows. But I think by the end of next year, we might see the ends of Mason Cox, Tom Mitchell, Steele, Jeremy Howe. We might see 4 or 5 people retire by the end of the year. The other knock that I'm hearing, though, is if these older guys are playing, how are we going to get the newer guys through? And, you know, everyone is all for Ed Allen should be playing, Reef McInnes should be playing, XYZ should be playing. But form dictates if you get picked or not. If Ed Allen wants to play, he has to play better than Steele Sidebottom. If Charlie Dean wants to play, he has to be playing better than Billy Frampton. If Reef McInnes wants to play, he has to be playing better than, I don't know, are you going to put him in the midfield or are you going to put him in the forward line? Or if Finn McRae wants to play, he has to be playing better than Ned Long. None of these kids, and that's no knock to them because, you know, everyone develops at their own sort of pace. None of these kids are playing better than the older guys at the moment. Is that a little bit concerning? Yes. But I think in 2025, we will be seeing a little bit more of the passing of the baton, and we will be seeing more of this Ed Allen type sort of come through and shine a little bit. They need another preseason, and the best thing about it is they've still got these older heads that are still teaching them. Jeremy Howe commanding that back line, Will Hoskin-Elliott in the forward line, Steele Sidebottom in any sort of position that you want to play him in. So I think it's a good problem to have. but I do think that by the end of 2025, we will be saying goodbye to a lot of these players. So moving on to another player that's uncontracted at the moment, and I will have another video coming out. It'll probably be next week where we talk about all the contracted players and if they're going to get another, delisting or anything sort of like that, or another contract. But Joe Richards. So Joe Richards for most of the season hasn't had a contract on the table. And now he has. Reportedly, it's a 2-year contract that Collingwood have offered him. But there are clubs linked to him. Port Adelaide is really big on him. And he's a small forward in demand. He is electric. I absolutely love him. I think we did him so wrong last week when we put him on for like 45 seconds of the match. I think that was really stupid and it probably doesn't do anything for him wanting to sign a contract. But a trade would need to be made if Joe Richards was to leave. I don't think he will. I think he's Jamie Elliott's natural successor. So Elliott's probably only got about a year. Well, only got a year left on his contract. I don't see him going on further than that, unfortunately. So I think Joe Richards just has to bide his time, and he's that next guy up because I love him. I love what he brings to this team, and I hope he does sign a contract. I hope we can get it done. I'd even give him 3 years, to be honest. I'd absolutely give Joe Richards 3 years because at the moment the 2-year deal, he hasn't signed a contract, and I don't want him going to any other team. The big ones, though, that I want to talk about is Reef and Fin. I was going to say Reef and Finn McGuinness, like they were brothers. Reef McGuinness and Finn McRae. So Reef is out of a contract at the end of the year. Finn McRae he extended earlier in the year, and he'll play on till 2025, or he's contracted on until 2025. There's a little bit of interest for these guys at the moment from rival clubs. Now, this Finn and Reef perplex me, right? I love both of these players. Finn had an incredible preseason, but we've seen time and time, and I'm not harsh on players, right? I don't try to be harsh on players, but we've seen time and time again where Finn just doesn't come to the party when he gets picked. He has a couple of stints of really good games, but just doesn't come to the party. And I don't know if that's, you know, a knock on his work rate or work ethic or anything like that, because I don't see that, so I can't comment on that. Because the skills are there. He can grab a ball. We know that he's above the VFL level. His defensive traits he can work on a little bit. Is he a little bit too slow out of packs? There's all these things that he can work on. Is he working on them? Who knows? But I think it's telling when we're so many midfielders. Or at one point we had pretty much no midfielders, and Finn still wasn't getting a game. I think that's telling in and of itself. I think that Finn will. I think that Finn will find another home at the end of the year. Is that with the Bulldogs to play with his brother? But then they're saying that his brother might leave because he's in the VFL. But I think Finn could command a second rounder. Probably nothing more than that. But he's starved for opportunities at Collingwood, and he might have to go to a team that's going to play him week in, week out, because at the moment we're not doing that. And the same thing with Reef. I think Reef could be absolutely anything. They're trying him in the defense, in the VFL. I think he'd be really good on a wing. He's got really good hands. When we play him in the forward line, he does really well. But again, it's telling when we need these players and they're just not getting picked, or Reef starting as a sub or something like that. So I think that says a lot as well, especially that we haven't tabled a contract offer to him. I think Reef and Finn will leave at the end of the year. We'll get get some currency for them. Get some not first round picks. Definitely not first round picks. Get some second round picks, because at the moment our draft hand is really bare. We've been linked to Hobbs from Essendon, so maybe there's a Reef and Essendon link. I'm pretty sure Reef grew up supporting Essendon. Because I remember I interviewed him ages ago before the draft, which was cool. So maybe there's a Hobbs Reef thing going on. It would be very disappointing if Reef and Finn did leave, because in that draft that they came in, that was the draft with Ollie Henry. So that would be another draft year absolutely wasted. And then you've got to start thinking, do we need to look at our our guys that are doing the draft? Is it Derek Hine, or because 1 out of every 8 players or whatever it is only works. And what about these other guys? And if these guys leave from their draft year, which I think was 2020, it would just be pretty much an absolute fail, because all these guys went around the same time in the draft, and to lose Reef, Fin, and Ollie Henry is crazy, because Reef and Fin have so much upside. I want to see them play in these last 2 games, just to show me, to show the supporters, to show the team they can do what they want to do. But hands behind my back, if I was to pick only one of these players to keep, it would be Reef McGuinness. I think there's a little more upside in him than there is Fin. But anyway, guys, this has just been a contract and trade update. I'm going to have a couple more videos coming out in the next week or so. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't already, go check out my Scott Pendlebury interview video, which was just surreal. Like, incredible. I can't believe I had the opportunity to do that. So watch that as well. But until then, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shaggers. I'll swoop you later.